Who is allotted to introduce, sir? May I know? Roll number 3.
It's roll number 3.
Yes.
Varsha ma'am.
Roll number.
Ma'am,
Sir,
please
madam,
read the
please go
biodata.
ahead. Read the biodata. Sir, profile read kara.
Yes. Thank you. Good morning to all. It's my pleasure to introduce Honorable Dr. Ajit Thete, academic administrator and policy expert with over 41 years of experience in teaching.
वर्षा मॅडम तुमचा आवाज येत नाही. मॅडम प्लीज नेटवर्क मध्ये येऊन हॅलो वर्षा मॅम.
Hello.
Madam, you are not audible.
Hello.
You are not audible, ma'am.
Can I audio now? Hello.
मॅडम आवाज येत नाही तुमचा. मॅडम थोडा नेटवर्क मध्ये येऊन बोला मॅम प्लीज.
वर्षा मॅडम, तुमचा आवाज ब्रेक होतोय सारखा.
Hello. आता ऐकू येतंय का? Hello. 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 Hello.
मॅडम बोला ना तुम्ही पुढे.
Yes.
वर्षा मॅम तुम्ही बोला.
I think she has some network problem. Don't worry, I will introduce myself to you, if you don't mind. If the organizers allow, I will briefly introduce myself.
Please go ahead, sir. I am extremely sorry the madam is
No.
not
I can very well understand. I can very well understand, ma'am. It's always issues are there related to the
technicalities.
internet
Yes.
and connectivity. Yeah. Huh?
Yes.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sir. Network
No.
connectivity were very.
No issue. So, welcome to all of you to this particular session on the leadership. So, at the outset, I thank Dr. Suchita Yambal ma'am for inviting me to deliver this particular talk. I'm also thankful to the team of HRDC, my friend Dr. Rafe sir, director, and very important that my all around 90 faculties, those who are connected for this particular program. I'm teacher like you, and having almost 42 years of experience now. 41 was in the last year. I'll be very soon completing 42 years of my experience as a teacher, as a administrator. And I hold degrees, triple post-graduation, PhD. And very important to say that, yes, last 42 years working in academics right from the lecturer level, and I went up to the level of joint director for technical education. Working right now on the different committees, and I'm very happy to share with all of you that HRDC, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, has given me an opportunity to be a part of UGC program on NEP 2020. And as a part of that, I am here. I will let you know about myself whenever it will come to different slides. It may be regarding the research and presentation, etc. So I will present you myself during my presentation. So thank you once again. And is it my PPT is visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. Thank you. So, dear professors, once again, welcome to this session, which is going to last for 3 hours. And the title given to me by ma'am is Leadership Styles in the Context of National Education Policy 2020. And if I have to say, yes, leading the change and nurturing the future. That is what I have given the theme to this today's talk, leading the change, nurturing the future. This topic on which we are talking, you can see on my slide, first slide, though I'm a former Joint Director for Technical Education, I'm also right now the Director for Center for Development of Leadership in Education, which is the topic of our today's session. And herein, I believe that we all teachers, we are expert in our domain. No doubt, through the years of experience in teaching, learning, and research, and also an experience of conducting different activity, we understand the key of student development, student holistic development. And herein, you people like you who are the senior professors at a national level, I really highly appreciate you. You are doing a lot of good work in your respective institute and universities. And now, with the help of NEP 2020, obviously we talk about some unique leadership style. Of course, it is not beyond the definition and concept and theories of leadership, but today we will try to understand the leadership styles in context to NEP 2020. I have planned 3 outcomes only for this today's session. Apply the concept and principles of leadership, of course, in educational setting, number 1. Then explore leadership scopes and opportunities. As we talk about NEP 2020, you will find that there is a lot of scope and opportunity to demonstrate leadership. And going demonstrate leadership, practicing the leadership. We everyone are the leader now when we talk about NEP 2020. And third outcome is demonstrate leadership in higher education. So today, I will not only talk on the bit of conceptual level, I'm not going to the concept and definition. I'll be talking to the context of today's topic, and I will try to let you know that how the leadership has got opportunities in the today's world when we are implementing NEP 2020. And obviously, I will give you some inputs which will help you out to prepare yourself in a more effective way as a leader. Right now, you are also leader. You are a leader right now. But then when we go for the demonstrating, having this lecture, we will see what best we can do for the student and society at large. Part 1 presentation. My presentation is in 3 parts. So part 1 presentation, the context of leadership under NEP 2020. Why is that? Nowadays, when we talk about NEP 2020, why we give more emphasis on the leadership? Leadership, and that too, leadership in education. That is what we are going to, first of all, try to understand. As I said to you, my dear professor, who are connected to this particular session, almost 90 professors are there across the country from different demography. Somebody of you might be from rural area, some may be from semi-urban, urban, some may be from the metro, some may be located in the remote area. like when we go for the, this privileged group, there also you might be serving. Our teachers serve across the nation, across the globe. So when we are performing, what are those roles in the context of NEP? You all prefer performing a noble role. Actually, I always say that why we talk about the teacher as a noble idea. The noble is because teacher is a noble profession is only because you will understand the type of work you are doing, the type of contribution you are doing, which is going to shape the future of this nation. And not nation nowadays, we talk of globally. And hence, to do so, we required a leadership, attitude, aptitude. Both things are very much required. And obviously, in the given situation, based upon the students taking the admission, based upon your demography, based upon the faculty to which you are teaching, you require to demonstrate different type of leadership as such. So today's context, as we see, is NEP 2020. Very happy to say you that tomorrow, that is 29th July 2020, we are celebrating
सर आवाज नहीं आ रहा।
आवाज नहीं आ रहा बिल्कुल।
सर का नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम हो गया शायद।
नेटवर्क इशू शायद।
ऑफिसर है तो उनको बताना पड़ेगा।
सर व्हाट हैपन?
नेटवर्क इश्यू है शायद। सर तो दिखाई भी नहीं दे रहे अभी।
वेट कीजिए, वेट कीजिए।
ओके ओके ओके।
Good afternoon, sir.
तक हम लोग कुछ डिस्कशन कर लेंगे क्या?
Sir,
Yeah, beg your pardon. I'm
sir,
extremely
one
sorry.
round out, sir.
Hello. I'm extremely sorry for this. Uh, some disturbance in the presentation. So please bear with me. And as you know that it will happen, though I am sitting in Pune, but sometimes, the conditions are so worst, we are not really able to deliver what we really want to do. Okay. I'm really sorry for the same. So,
okay,
dear
sir.
professor,
Okay,
once
sir. No
again,
issue.
come. Yeah. So when we talk of this aspect, that we today means tomorrow is 29th of July 2022, and we are going to celebrate the 5th anniversary of NEP 2020, which is aimed at transform Indian education system by 2040. So why is that leadership is required? Because whatever is envisaged in the NEP 2020, we would like to properly demonstrate through this, and we need to focus more onto the holistic, flexible, and multidisciplinary education. This is one of the context of which we are now talking about demonstrating the leadership as such. So the context is NEP 2020. Earlier we used to deliver the curriculum, we used to run the institution where curriculum were rigid in pattern. But now, with the global opportunities and challenges, we have restructured our education system. Many of you must be knowing, right from school education till higher education and professional education, now we are going to transform the education system. And for that, people like you and me who are working in different institutions and university, they need to demonstrate the leadership as such. In this task, what is really a role of the leadership? Now, when we talk of NEP 2020, very important is visionary and transformational leadership is very critical. Many of you must have attended so many seminars, programs. You must have gone through the document of NEP. Many universities have started implementing the curriculum as per NEP 2020. But to implement that, we required visionary and transformational leadership, which is going to be very critical. And these leaders must guide change in governance, because governance is going to change. We are going to have a more and more autonomous institution, universities. The curriculum is going to be vibrant. The pedagogies need to be changed. Earlier, we used to talk with a traditional method of teaching in a classroom, in the four walls of the classroom. But now we have to go with a more of a skill-oriented, more of experiential learning, internship, problem solving, and solving multidisciplinary problems. So herein, we need to guide and change in the governance in the curriculum, in pedagogy, and the academic leadership is a cornerstone for the successful implementation of NEP as such. So the role of leader is going to be very important. Now try to understand what is the scope of leadership to you and of course to me. Institutional autonomy and governance. Under NEP, more and more university will be granted autonomy. When autonomy is granted, governance will change. Though there will be some authorities appointed by the affiliating universities on the governing council or academic council, but we as an institute, we as a faculty of the institute, we are required to perform very visionary and critical role into the leadership. Curriculum and pedagogical reforms. We talk about earlier days, we had a 3-degree program. I'm talking about the recent past. 3 years of bachelor's degree in humanities, in commerce and business management, in sciences. But now we have gone for not only honors program, 4-year program, but we have also brought in research component in the undergraduate program. We are going to have an interdisciplinary approach, minor and major. We are going to have a multidisciplinary approach. So we have to have a curriculum and pedagogical reforms to meet the needs of the society. And when I'm saying society, the organization like banking and finance, public sectors and industry, business organization, where our students are working, to prepare them, we required variety into the curriculum. The courses, the student may be of any discipline, the knowledge of communication skill, the knowledge of problem solving, the knowledge of, to certain extent, the psychology, the management, the finance is equally required irrespective to which our student is working. And that too, looking to the today's challenges, the business requirement, the employment requirement, our pedagogy need to be changed. And that's why there is a scope of leadership in curriculum and pedagogical reforms. Teacher training program, your role will also be there in the teacher training, because you are senior faculty, and in the senior faculty, when you go for training our students, we have to also equally see that our teachers are properly trained. So continuous development of the teacher and development. Then institutional development plans. Today, your affiliated institute under NEP 2020, it is planned that now no in future institution will not be affiliated, they will be autonomous. Those who are already autonomous, they will become multidisciplinary universities. And like on, those are multidisciplinary institutions, universities, later on, they will focus either on teaching or research and become teaching and research university. So you and me who are sitting now in the institution, your future is going to be a very important and you can become an university. And that's why how the institution is going to transform. And for that we require leadership. So you people need to work. Then setting up the multidisciplinary research universities, as I made you, and the multidisciplinary institution, we require a leadership into that. People, because while leadership is a innovative, he is a creative, he is a risk-taking, he work in a team, he do continuous development, effective communication. So when we talk of establishing MERUs and multidisciplinary institution, there we required leadership. So dear professor, those who have connected today, we have to play a lot of role in the future of education, which is being brought in through NEP 2020. Integration of school and higher education is a part of NEP 2020. How do you involve students into the higher education? And that's why if you have seen, and you must have seen, the curriculum of the NCERT, CBSE, and different boards, you need to find out how is that you establish the connection between school and higher education for two reasons. Number one is for applied learning. And second, to make them understand what is your future, what is your future career growth, career possibilities. Because in our country, you know that the gross enrollment ratio for higher education is less as compared to the developed nation. And that is our responsibility to connect with the school. There also we require a leadership. And of course, nowadays, we talk about technology, and that technology like AI. Now, technology is gone beyond ICT classroom, and we have to bring a technology and very importantly, inclusivity into the education. All, we know that this privileged group, which is now away from education, how do you bring into this education? NEP talks about, as you know, student can take exit after first year, they will get certificate. After second year, they will get diploma. After third year, they will get bachelor's degree. If they complete fourth year, they will get honors degree. But then, as today's students, this privileged group are going away from higher education, basic reason is that they are unable to pursue the higher education because of socio-economical status. And we as a teacher, as we used to say, it's a noble profession. We need to demonstrate leadership so that students are from different region, different castes, creed, and this privileged group are brought into the process of higher education, and there we require a leadership. Already you must be doing a lot of activity, but in that task also we need to work and we need to perform into that. When we see this, obviously we are into the autonomy. So when we go to the autonomy, I'll just go back. In autonomy, leadership is required because it is said that when autonomy is granted, more leadership is required of. Because what university is doing is now institute is going to do as they have been awarded autonomy. So decentralized decision making, then establishing independent board of governance, and since curriculum, teaching, learning, evaluation till award of degree, we should be accountable. And hence, when we talk of leadership, you will find the amount of work that we need to do, the type of the personality attributes that are required are being highly in demand when we go for institutional governance and autonomy as such. Similarly, curriculum pedagogy, which already I talked to you about, transition to experiential and competency-based learning. Today we talk about outcome-based education. In some of the slide, I am going to focus on to that outcome-based education, which talks about the competencies. So we have to go for transition to experiential learning so that student might be of history, geography, commerce, psychology, science, and of technology, any branch or BBA, we need to give them experiential learning so that he get an opportunity to apply the lesson learned in a appropriate course directly in the real life. Internships are introduced. And now we have to provide a competency-based education, outcome-based education. Here we require a leadership. So to make this, then encourage critical thinking and creativity. We are going to see very soon about the vision of NEP 2020. But obviously, you will also agree that having discipline knowledge is not sufficient. We have to have a very critical thinking and creativity about that. I'm learning, say, for example, economics, how I can do a critical thinking to come out with a creative solution for agriculture, disprivileged group, industries, and when developed nation like United States of America is going to change a tariff plan, even to that extent. And that's why we require critical thinking and creativity at each every domain. There again we require a leadership. And of course, as I said to you, we are going to have a multidisciplinary programs. And for this, we require continuous professional development. A continuous professional development has to be there. And that's why I said in the beginning, now since our Professor Varsha was unable to get connected while introducing myself, I set a plan for myself. When I was a lecturer, that time only I have decided that I will go for continuous professional development. I am talking you about 42 years before. And that's why, number one, enhancing the qualification. I have a bachelor degree in civil engineering, did 3 post-graduation, master in civil engineering, master in technical education, master in business administration, PhD in Germany, and PhD in the optimization. And not only that, I have attended more than 100 weeks of training program in the country and across the country like you are attending, ranging from 3 days program to 3 months of program. So this continuous development, publication of papers, doing research, this is time. We are doing, my dear professors, we are leaders, we are educational leaders. And that's why to prepare ourselves to the needs of the society, to the needs of today, we require continuous development, and that mission we have to keep into mind. performance appraisal and mentoring system. This is also is very important. I have seen a performance development scheme, but there is no performance development and appraisal scheme. You only measure how do you going to contribute to development. And that's why the mentoring system, and if you go to the depth of the NEP 2020, now there is also been mentioned that we should even mentor students, we should mentor parents, we should mentor our own junior colleagues, and of course share with our own colleagues. And that's why we talk about creation of national professional standards for teachers, as it is happening in different countries. So for teacher training and development, we need to work on to the various area. And hence, the opportunities through NEP 2020 is development of academic leadership pipelines. We are
யாருக்கா
going
சொல்லி
to
அறிய இருக்கா?
please mute yourself. Somebody is talking. Yeah. So we need to develop academic leadership. Here we require different leader, education leader, academic leader, establishment of innovative ecosystem, students, parents, and entire our ecosystem is used to the rigid pattern. But now we have to come out with that rigidity, and we have to focus more onto the area of going innovative way. Innovative way of teaching and learning, assessment, projects work, so that we develop. And not only that, for that we require to really do lot of research. So research ecosystem, then whatever knowledge we are creating or we are gaining must be transformed to the society. So there are opportunities. Technology integration. So how do you integrate technology in managing education and in delivering the education? And obviously have to have for this lot of global academic collaboration. You must be knowing that in different part of the country, now the foreign institutions are going to establish. Even today, many of the Indian institutions has got foreign collaboration. Now, in future, it may be for credit transfer, or it may be for the semester exchange, or any credit transfer for that matter. We require global academic collaboration so that student is ready to accept global level challenges, global level employment requirement, and for that we all need to work a lot. And as I said you sometime before, the inclusive and equitable education framework. Today, whatever we are getting, we are only admitting those who are approaching to the institute either directly or centralized admission process or entrance examination. We need to demonstrate leadership so that there is an inclusive and equitable. Both are being properly matched, and even for that we have to focus on what type of education scholarships can be given to the student. It may be from CSR funding or other such corpus fund if we created as such. As I said, technology integration. The National Educational Technology Forum, which is going to promote use of technology, and you'll find today, even today, there are a lot of platforms like Sarthi. You know that very soon ONOS is going to come. One nation, one subscription. So every year you'll find that we have to have a educational technology used in education processes. We need to focus on to that. AI, MOOCs, virtual labs that will enhance learning. That we require to incorporate. I'm very happy to say, very happy to share with you, my dear professor, I'm also working on each of these projects. Even right now, we require to educate student and faculty on use of AI in their profession, in their workplaces, and even to you and me as a AI in pedagogy. And that's why leadership in digital pedagogy is essential. So we have find that this contextual requirement which we find. And of course, we have one more opportunity is to holistic and multidisciplinary education. So emphasis on value-based and practical learning. Development of multifaceted personality, sports, art, vocational studies. And for that, our leadership is required to drive the curriculum and innovations. So earlier we were talking about, rather sometime we were criticizing and blaming the education system, saying that it's very rigid, no scope to the institute and universities. But through the introduction of NEP 2020, where tomorrow we are going to enter to the 5th anniversary, we are going to celebrate 5th anniversary of NEP 2020, all these are given to us. And you will definitely realize that, you must have realized that today only degree certificate is not sufficient. We want him to be a holistic development, multidisciplinary approach. And since, as I said, NEP has given this, that leadership need to be properly done. So leadership is not about being in charge, not as a charge. It is about taking care of those in your charge. So when we talk of this NEP context, you will find that this theme, this saying by Simon Sinek says that leadership is not about being in charge of something, but it is about taking care of those in your charge. So students, your fellow colleagues, society, nation, all these where we want to work on to that. And hence, we all have to work into that. And so is to do so, we have to have a competencies of a successful leader. We all in this background, you have seen the scope, you have seen the opportunities to demonstrate ourselves as a leadership, which many of you know. But then there are two aspects. What competencies are required? How is that one who used to be the principal in the earlier days or head of department in earlier days, or for that matter, a assistant professor in earlier days, and what he is today or she is today. When you try to differentiate with the educational settings and in the business setting, in the industrial setting, and in different platform setting, you will find that at every setting, every ecosystem, you require certain common attribute as a leader and certain unique which are required to that particular platform. We are working on an educational platform, academic platform, which has got inbuilt research. And for that, having to know that in the context of whatever you have seen, the scope and opportunities for you and me to demonstrate leadership, let us see what are the competencies of a successful leader. Now, next good number of slides are going to add to the skill set which will facilitate you to demonstrate as a leader. And that is what I'm going to take here in the next slides as such. And that's why John F. Kennedy used to say that leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. So if you have to demonstrate leadership, learning has to be there. And that's why we sometime in one slide, we talk about continuous professional development. So that should occur. And how is to that occur? That how we have to learn, of course, Dr. Sucheta Embel ma'am and HRDC, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University has given us an opportunity to both of us to share the knowledge on this. So we will learn, and this is not only the end thing, you have to continuously learn on the basis of that. So when we talk of these very basic questions which we need to answer, why students take admission in higher education institution? Then why do we teach? And third question, what is the expected outcome of this combined effort? This is the basic fundamental three questions. I'm going to teach any course, I'm going to lead a department, or I'm head of the institution, or head of some activity, some task. I have to keep in mind why students take admission in HEI. Why do we teach? And what is the expected outcome of this combined effort that we need to focus and we need to discuss. Sometime I may go a little bit fast. Please be with me. We will try to cover a minimum which is required as the outcome of this particular session as such. And hence, we talk on the very important aspect of APJ Abdul Kalam sir. We say that let us sacrifice our life today so that our children can be better tomorrow. Always I talk to my teachers, fellow teachers like you. Do teacher has got real life? Do they enjoy life? Because if you see the opportunities, the type of attributes that we want to develop, the expectation from the society, from the parent, from the student, from the employee, from the nation. And we all the time, entire life, we only do on academics, academics, and academics. And that's why APJ Abdul Kalam very says that let us sacrifice our life today so that our children can have a better tomorrow. And with that philosophy, nevertheless, I'm going to talk about the personal domain development. I'm going to talk about your personal hobbies. Okay, I don't want you to ignore your own self. Okay, we will talk whenever that slide and that time will come. Doesn't mean that this slide that, yes, the meaning is that we have to do something for the society as such at a longer term. So when we talk on this aspect, let us go on to the foundation of the education leadership. Okay, we'll try to understand. I know that many of you must have gone through such type of books, such type of reading, lectures, but this is one again a sort of a refreshing cola. It's a refreshing cola, and I want you to enjoy that when you are sitting here. So herein, develop professional capabilities for successful career and life is very important. Okay. So when we are going to go for providing leadership to the nation, I'm saying you nation, my dear professors, or we are global leaders, Keep in mind these words, because what you are going to contribute is going to sometime change the scenario. You know how APJ Abdul Kalam has contributed. We know so many scientists. Shubhanshu Shukla recently has been our astronaut. He did a lot of work. So there are so many people who are doing. So that professional capabilities are very important so that we can have a right of graduate as such. So let us try to understand what is really expected in the concept of the educational leadership. I've given both the definitions. A quick leadership is any activities tied to the core work of the organization that are designed by the organizational members to influence the motivation, knowledge, affect, or practices of other organizational members. This is leadership. In general, when we talk of educational leadership, it is the process of enlisting and guiding the talents and energies of teachers, pupils, and parents toward achieving common educational goal. So our role is a process to achieve the common goal of the students, of the teachers, of the parents, of the pupils, so that the common education goal is achieved. And hence, when we go further, you will find there are so many ways in which leadership can be evolved. Let us see nowadays why we talk about the leadership in education, how it has emerged. As I said you before, demands were made on higher education institution for high level of people achievement, and HES were expected to improve and reform. Why leadership? Expectations were accompanied by cause for accountability at HEI level. Then administration and management, which are terms that cannot stability through the exercise of control and supervision. You cannot do that. You cannot do administration and management in education setup just by control and supervision. And that's why the concept of leadership was favored, because it conveys dynamism and proactivity, which you are doing every day in your life. When you see some student looking down or having some questionable face or having some difficulty, you immediately address. It's a dynamic. And proactively you go to that. You know what is required in the society. So we need to understand that why it has been talked about the leadership and why NEP has taken note of that and has mentioned about development of educational leaders in our country. Now, okay, in the previous slide we say, but why educational leadership? Let us go to the micro level quickly. Generate results and achieve your organization vision through change-focused leadership. You want to develop entrepreneurs, you want researchers, you want scientists, you want good employment rate, you want to do something which will contribute to the societal development. So whatever is your vision, with the change-focused leadership, you need to generate the results and achieve your organization. That's why we want educational leadership. Foster productivity by designing work practices, routines, systems, and structure. I'm a teacher, I'm a leader. So as a leader, I have to foster the productivity. Wherein by how? By designing the work practices, while teaching, while assessing, while interacting with the students, while doing the research. So new work practices need to be developed and our routines need to be changed. Routine needs to be changed. Mean as on today, we say that we take a curriculum and we go and deliver in a class. But then this routine need to be changed and we have to have a good academic systems into the place, and for that we require different structures of assessment, evaluation structure, curriculum structure, and even learning structure as such. That's why leadership is required. Engage people from across culture, backgrounds, and languages through effective communication. Why education leadership? This line itself is self-explanatory, but this will tell you that yes, this is how we can require, and that's why we require to work across the culture, across the background and language of the people. Cultivate empowerment, resiliency, integrity, and growth, your personal development and development of others. See, I'm going to show you one more slide. That time also I'm going to talk about this. But the purpose of leadership is that, as I said to you, not only conducting examination. I don't mean that you are doing so. I don't mean that you go in a traditional way. I'm damn sure as you are registered for this program, you are a dynamic persons. You have a proactive role to play. I understand. I appreciate all of you. But then, going beyond the curriculum, why leadership is required, why education leadership is required, because we have to cultivate empowerment. Students get empowered. Faculty should get empowered. Society should get empowered. They should have a resiliency when we work into that. We must have an integrity, which you cannot see. And grow through your personal development and development of others. And that is where, and obviously skills, knowledge, and position, the careers, you need to make a transformative impact. Very easy to spell out these sentences, but teacher like you and me always looking for that type of the impact. We want to see our student doing something unique. Those who are really having socio-economic issue, they are now standing on their own feet. We would like to see that. We would like to see and reduce whatever we have a poverty in our country. So dear professors, skills, knowledge, and positions you need to make a transformative impact, and that's why we require a educational leadership. So when we talk about educational leadership, we need to, and we mean to that. Now if you quickly see, which already you must have seen in this particular slide, what are the concept to the policy agenda? When we say education, you may say sometimes, sir, somewhere you are going very micro level. But since in my 40 years of teaching, and I have trained thousands of teachers across the nation, I have seen that it's not mine, your fault. We never get an opportunity to discuss on these certain concepts, certain principles, which will definitely help. Okay. So let us go to the education from concept to the policy. When I'm saying policy, NEP 2020 policy agenda. Now see the concept of education. What Mahatma Gandhi says, education is development of body, mind, and soul. So we all teachers, including myself, we have to see that when we are imparting an education, when we are offering a program, awarding the degree, how we can develop their skills. Body means skills, intellectual skills, mind, and emotional quotient, soul. So when we say holistic education, it's a holistic education is body, mind, and soul. So that concept, that one single concept will change your act of leadership. Swami Vivekananda say, education is the manifestation of divine perfection which already exists in the human being. So there are students, majority of the students are coming from rural area. They may have a little less exposure, little less digital knowledge, but they have potential. There are so many deprived group, tribal area people have lot of skills, abilities, and even in our urban and metro cities also. So if you take this part into the picture, the concept of education, as been said before, education is the manifestation of divine perfection which already exists in the human being. So when we talk of leadership, these are the simple concepts which talks you and give us a sort of input to be demonstrated as a leader in the organization, in an academic institution. What Rabindranath Tagore says, the highest education is that which does not merely give us information, but makes our life in harmony with all existence. Meaning to say, in the NEP context, experiential learning, application level knowledge, problem solving, and that too solving problems of the society, of the country, of your own discipline. So if we only get ourselves appreciate these themes, these course, this concept of education given by different leaders, you will find that that gives you a lot of inputs and energy, and they really motivate us, inspire us to demonstrate as a leadership. Leadership is nothing in education setup. This is all what is being said into that. See, Aurobindo mentioned bit. Education is meant to bring out the best in man, to develop his potentialities to the maximum, to integrate him with himself, his surroundings, his society, his country, and humanity, to make him the complete man, the integral man.
I'm just coming, sir.
Professor, long ago, years ago, C. Aurobindo has given the concept of education in his words. If at all we make an attempt and structure it to deliver in a dynamic way, I think the purpose of education is fulfilled. The purpose of education is fulfilled. So we want today, whatever we talk, and we talks about the holistic development, is a complete man, integral man. When we talk with the same definition, to integrate him with himself, personal development, his surrounding, society and workplaces. So this is, and also you should contribute to the society. Based on this theme, I have come out with one picture I'll show you at some stage. So this thought process will give us a more thought into that. And even the inputs are there from the Bologna process. The last line, the final report of the structural reforms which have been taken in a Bologna process. Globally, the objectives of higher education, we must know: preparing for employment, number one. I am not talking about priority number one, serial number one. Second, preparing for life as active citizen in a democratic society. We talk about environment, we talk about sustainability, we talk about trust, we talk about human values, professional ethics. So it's a higher education objectives which all we teachers, our institution should prepare them for employment, prepare for life as an active citizen in democratic societies, personal development. They should also contribute to the personal development of their own. And that when we talk about personal development, this personal development in body, mind, and soul. It's not only external personality, but internal personality. And that's why he or she is required to focus. And our higher education objectives is one of that, personal development. And the fourth one, the development and maintenance of broad, advanced knowledge base. So, my student of humanities, commerce, science, and even professional courses, we need to see that they have a advanced knowledge. And that's why the flexibility is given. That's why autonomy is given to us, so that we can bring in the new changes into the curriculum. And a broad-based knowledge, interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary knowledge. So these objectives of higher education, which are accepted globally, and India is also part of this Bologna process, where we have attained, or we are going to stick up to these objectives. These objectives will also give you the inputs for demonstrating leadership. What is leadership in education academic setting? A setting is something different as we compare to the other settings as such. And that's why, as our vision, NEP 2020 says, values and disposition. Please mute yourself. Roll number 6. Roll number 6, please mute yourself. Roll number 6, please mute yourself. So, the vision of education NEP 2020 says that we want to develop values and dispositions that support responsible commitment to human rights, sustainable development and livings, and global well-being, thereby reflecting a truly global citizen. I need not tell you, as on today, where our country, India, stands. You know very well. We are fourth now. We are fourth now in the level of economy. We are being demanded, but then equally, there are a lot of issues and challenges of education and training and employment. And our vision of this education policy 2020 is we have to develop and be a responsible commitment to the human rights, sustainable development, and living, global well-being, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and thereby reflecting a truly global citizen. We know we talk about Nalanda universities, how those days the people used to come from abroad to learn here in a Gurukula system. Now we have to go back to those days. We know many of our countries, stalwarts, are working globally. We want to increase the rate and range of that. Sustainable Development Goal 4. Your leadership, again, one more aspect to that. Education is a force multiplier which enables self-reliance, boosts economic growth by enhancing skills, and improve people's lives by opening up opportunities for better livelihoods. So NEP, if you refer to NEP document, you will find that we require a leadership, but because we also need to focus on Sustainable Development Goal 4, where people become self-reliant, not dependent on anybody. They boost economic growth. When I'm coming from my home to my workplace, I could get minimum 2 to 3 locations where hundreds of laborers are waiting, carrying lunch box in their hand and waiting for the job. This is what I could see while traveling from home. There are many more behind that. And that's why, my dear professors, we all need to address their leadership. When we say a concept of education and the policy agenda is Sustainable Development Goal 4, so my job is not only to make and deliver an education in the course, but develop the skills, develop the empowerment, and develop their economic status so that they can have a better livelihood. The once upon a time I was a chief guest for one national service scheme program. It is a 1 week, you know that we go for a 1 week camp, NSS camp. And at the end of the day, it was a rural area. I was invited. I was delivering the talk. But I could pinpointed one person, a rural area, must have been uneducated and not been given exposure to the real world of work. He was very patiently listening. That time I took a photograph of that person. He means everybody is really want to learn, want to do something. How we as a teachers, we can contribute to that. Their leadership is required. So we need to also contribute to the Sustainable Development Goal 4 as such. And as said by APJ Abdul Kalam, you will find so many slides of APJ Abdul Kalam because my hero, he must be a hero of you all. He says the purpose of education is to make good humans with skills and expertise. Next part is very important. Enlightened human beings can be created by teachers. You and me can create that. That is what APJ Abdul Kalam was having so much of faith on teacher. You know, you must have read his biography. So we teacher have to go into that role. Doesn't mean when I'm making this statement before you, maybe virtually, I know where you are working. That's why I told you in the very beginning, I mentioned, I know some of the faculty fellow colleagues must be working in the rural area, in tribal area, in the remote area, in semi-urban, urban, their challenges may be different. Their personal challenges, societal challenges, learners' challenges. But then, having gone through to have a role model of APJ Abdul Kalam, we can make, and that is the leadership. A leader has to motivate, empower, inspire, and these inspirations we come when we talk and we come across with this one. So to say, in this we talk about education is life and career. The objectives of education. We have also seen how the sustainable development goal and education goes hand in hand. We also seen what is the vision and vision of HEI. Just now we have seen the vision of NEP 2020. And we obviously, every time, at every slide, I used to say that leadership and management is vital. So with this aspect of this, we really need to work, we really need to demonstrate and make ourselves aligned. People talk about what is required, but to me, I generally talk, and even I have seen recently University Grant Commission has also incorporated this particular capsule, which I am going to present to you. Having in the earlier slides, when we started about the context of the leadership NEP, we talk about scope and opportunities. In NEP, to demonstrate leadership, why leadership is required. Then we come to the basic concept of leadership and the basic concept of education. But obviously, when we are working in this noble field, in noble profession, we are also human beings. We have also certain mission, vision, priorities. So, when we are going to contribute to the nation, to the entire globe, we must get ourselves prepared for that. So, aligning self and self goals with professional competencies, with career, and with sustainable development goal 4. This is the journey I am talking about now. I will not only talk you about the basic fundamentals of educational leadership, what it is. I am going to tell you what is the context and how you develop, what are the milestones into that. That also I will discuss with you. So, to provide leadership to the global, to the nation, global, local, we must get ourselves geared up with that. So, we require the planning, a strategic way. As I told you sometime before, in the time of my introduction, I planned. I was not knowing that I will get so much opportunity. But when I started attending the training programs, attending the conferences, publications, doing research, I observed that teacher has a lot of job to perform and he requires a lot of competencies. And that's why a good planning is required. So, dear professors, for a timing, no break, no break. Please relax yourself for 1-2 seconds. Take a long breath. And whenever you go back to your place, talk to self, talk to your family, talk to your friends, talk to your mentors. Take some time and write it. We'll have to write it. Where really we want to go? Really, what is your job? In the light of whatever I have presented, it was just a piece of I have taken from those themes and those quotes, and I have tried to presentation. But when it comes for me to imbibing them and demonstrating among to the community, I require to do that. And hence, as I said, you should also have a self-life goals. My dear professors, we are like a soldiers. We are like a soldiers who are day and night working on the boundaries of the nation and inside the nation. We should have our own goals. Our importance is very important. You should have your mission, your vision. You should have a policy and mandate. If you see the type of opportunity that is going to have, the challenges that you are even now you are facing, we must get ourselves well developed. And as I said sometime before, I don't want you to ignore yourself. Because we can only give to others when we are well equipped, well developed. And that's why take some time. Always I remember this saying by Gautam Buddha ji. Gautam Buddha used to say, hey man, where are you going? Where are you going? Please stop. Please stop. Look back. Look back. Why you are on this planet? Why you are on this planet? What is the purpose of life? Don't fly. Don't fly. Come down. Come down. We need to understand, my dear professors. That's why we always time and hundreds and thousands of times have seen teaching is a noble profession. So we have to gear up ourselves so that we have a good life goals, have your own mission, have your own vision, have some policies. I have designed a policy. I must tell you two things only. In my life, I purchased first new car after my VRS when I started working as an entrepreneur. Whatever money I used to get, I used to go only for training, publication, attending the conferences. And I made a mandate to myself. Every year, minimum one faculty development training program. Minimum two publication, one in research paper, one in conferences. This mandate has to be there. This mandate, and you should have your own policy. Policy for your own development. What is your policy for development? That also you have to think on that. And hence, we as teachers have to work on to that. And for making that to happen, we have to use different tools as such. Many of the tools you must be knowing. Who am I? Explore self. Talk to self. आप खुद से कभी बात करो, क्यों भैया कैसा चल रहा है? क्या ठीक चल रहा है क्या? Are you happy? What is your goal? Do SWOT analysis, your own strength, your own weaknesses, which you need to remove, you need to overcome. to grab the opportunities. What opportunities are there? And what are the challenges for which you can get prepared? And then define the purpose of life and career, both. Set your vision, mission, what you are, what you want to be. Set the plan, policy, mandate, action plan. Search your hobby and sustain it. I want you people to search for your own hobby. You are giving so much to the society. What you are doing to your own self? You want to dance, you want to sing, you want to go for cycling, you want to travel, you want to act in a drama. Do enjoy your hobby. That's very important. And sustain it and monitor and review periodically. You must have your plan. Okay. So, to prepare ourselves to go on to this launching pad, you must be knowing how the soldiers are trained before they go to the field. And in that way, we want ourselves to get prepared in holistic way. And we'll find and how we can really go into that. And obviously, there are tools which I talked to you about. We can use brainstorming tool or brain writing tools for SOC analysis. You can define mission and vision, and you can use a strategic planning approach for your own self. I want to make you, because you are very precious, you are very valuable. Every one of you are very valuable. Keep in mind. Okay? And that's why you have to prepare yourself so that you can give it to the society. You must know your strength. You must know what are your opportunities. And on that line, we need to work on to that. And in this aspect, as I said to you, this is my own concept. I have to prepare myself, me and the world. Me as an individual. If I'm a Dr. Ajit Thete, how is Ajit? I. My family, my brothers, sisters, husband, wife, all laws, in-laws. Society, my neighbor, my community, organization, where I'm going to work, whenever institution, in a university, in a research organization, then to the nation. And now with NEP 2020, the world. So we must do something where our graph of development should go from me and the world. I go with this concept. This is my own copyright concept that in today's world, we go with me and world, and we want ourselves to prepare for that and even prepare our students for that, our society for that. You know how you are valuable. Even though you are university teachers, you are teachers of higher education institutions, but neighbor come to you and ask you a question. Now, my grandson is going to go for a school. Which school is better? Or my granddaughter is now past 12th standard. Which career she should or he should go? So society is expecting a lot of things to you. So me and the world, this concept, we need to work on to that. And obviously, we have to focus while doing all this journey, me and organization. You and the organization in which you are working. That may be university, that may be higher education institution, or because that you and the platform of that organization, that institution, that you are using to take a launch. You're going to launch from that for your development. So you have to focus on both of the things. And keep in mind quickly, as I said to you, obtain higher education and qualification. Because I come across people recently have appointed 400 faculties in one university. And I have seen very few are having research qualification, PhD. Publications are weak. Obtain higher education. Education as a field of career and profession. Maybe by chance you have come to this profession, but now opt education as a field of career and profession. Accept the responsibility in the educational institution, whatever it will go to you. Same study, what to teach, how to teach, etc., etc., etc. Start teaching, do lot of research, go for continuous professional development, guide students and mentor. Think, have a critical discussion on different issues. Assess, evaluate, interpret, and so on. And at the end of the day, establish your own philosophy of education. Intentionally, last line of this slide I have kept in red because I want to go there. We want to go there. I want you people should have your own philosophy of education. You have to establish you as an education philosopher in your own domain. That is the idea in which we need to work on to that. So, while doing so, now we will see what is mission and vision. Of course, this I am talking from both the context, organizational context and individual context. This is not new to you because in any organization you are working, if you open the website, or nowadays because of NAC and NBA, we display the boards of mission and vision everywhere. But really, we know the implications? Do we know the meaning and concept of the mission and vision? Since you are going to be leaders in future, or not saying future, in current times only, when we talk of mission, let us come to talk about the empirical definition of mission. What is mission? What is the organization? It must be very simple. What is the organization? And to answer this, what is the organization? We answer 4 sub-questions. Why do you exist? To offer or educate, certificate, diploma, undergraduate, postgraduate, research, community development, whatever might be. Why do you exist? What is the purpose of existence? What is the purpose? You want researchers, you want entrepreneurs, we want good employees and employment, you want good social workers, so on and so on. What are the organizational values? Teamwork, inclusiveness, innovation, integration. So, what are the core values of the organization and how the organization is distinct from similar others? Nearby one institution is there. What is different between that institute and your institute? Your mission has to be something unique Are you working to develop entrepreneurs? Are your focus is on tribal? Are your focus is on skill development or research? What is your uniqueness? So mission is what is the organization? And you just try to answer these 4 questions, combined together, become a mission statement of the organization. And when we say mission statement, that time, keep in mind why the organization exists, who we are, what we do, explain the basic needs that you fulfill, express the core values and unique nature of your organization and the role it plays that differentiate it from others. That's why mission. When we talk about missionary, how this missionary word has come. So when you are going to be work in a leadership position as a head of department or a professor or a charge of some activity, or tomorrow you'll become principal and director or a vice chancellor or a dean, we must know what is mission. So mission is something else, and that is has to be properly done. What is vision? What the organization want to be in near future, what you want to become, when we want to become. If you remember APJ Abdul Kalam's book, Vision 2020, he made it very clear. And it was 2010. He published a book. Of course, it was a report, later on published in the form of the book, Vision 2020. And believe me, because of that Vision 200, what he want to become, when he want to become, honestly speaking, I am working on some of the subcommittee at the state level, not by 2020, but almost nearest to 2015 or 16, almost all that vision statement were in the mode of accomplishment. Why it is so happened? Because vision was very clear. What and when. So you as an institution, what is your vision? Do you want students to become entrepreneurs? You want them to be a global entrepreneurs? Do you really want them to be a unique researchers? You want them to be a student who can, or a graduate who can serve to the society, a disprivileged group? What you look for, what you want to be. And very importantly, vision, how the organization wants to be perceived in the future, what success looks like. Today, we are in 2025. How will I be there in 2030? How the institution will look like in 2030, 2040? And that's why we require institution development plan, strategic plan, and expression of the desired end state challenges everyone to reach for something. If you have a vision, you want entrepreneurs, you want patents, you want incubations, you want your own industry, you want your student to become a public servant at higher position. That's your vision. That expression of desired end state challenges everyone to reach for something. It is significant, inspires a compelling future, and provides a long-term focus for the entire organization. So vision are not the statement to hang on the doors of the wall of the institutions. We all stakeholders students, teaching, non-teaching staff, our management, external stakeholder, parents, our employees, everyone need to understand what is the mission and vision of the institution, and that we have to live that vision and mission, and that's why leadership is required. So having your knowledge, having your base into the mission and vision is going to add to that. And that's why we follow a strategic planning process for that. A strategic plan must be there. What is the meaning of strategic planning? We establish priorities on what we will accomplish in near future. So in the strategic planning, actually it's a process to establish priorities on what you will accomplish in future. It forces you to make choices on what you will do and what you will not do. Okay, so that we need to understand. And the people's and entire organization together around a single plan for execution. And entire resources are outlined towards this requirement of the future. So we require strategic planning. So you as an education leaders, when we are looking for autonomy or multidisciplinary university or teaching university or research university or multidisciplinary institution, you must have a strategic plan for that. You have to establish your priorities. You have to take a choice, what you will do, what you will not do. And our entire game in the institution should be around that priorities. And then we use strategic planning process. We have to do a strategic planning process. There are so many models, approaches, methodologies for developing a strategic planning. Even you talk about development of a, say, multidisciplinary curriculum or integrated curriculum or curriculum based on NEP, you have to plan certain strategies. You should have some mission and vision for that. So out of many models, I have used this particular model, A, B, C, D, E model. A stands for assessment, B stands for baseline, C stands for components, D stands for design to specific, and E stands for evaluation and monitoring. What is this? Let us see into detail of that. This is the model. First phase, where we are. If you are doing anything, you want to go to the reach, to your vision, where we are. Where we want to be. Where we are is very close to mission. Where we want to be, vision. How are you doing? How we are doing is a monitoring. 3 questions we have to ask. And that's why at your institute level, by taking the members from all stakeholders, representatives from all stakeholders, your alumnus are there, students are there. When you go for teaching, non-teaching, parent, employee, form a group. Make a steering committee out of that, about 7 to 13 members, depending upon the requirement, and conduct this ABCD analysis. First of all, we will see where we are. And to know where we are, first stage is to assessment. Assess what? Number one, origin of the institution, how the university or how the institute origin lies, who started, what was the purpose, why they have started education, why they started only higher education, why in the rural area, why in this specific discipline, purpose. Then since establishment till today, what are the development phases with respect to infrastructure, with respect to educational program, with respect to research, with respect to accreditation, with respect to community service, etc., etc., etc. And do the SOC analysis. What are, as on today, what are the strengths of the institutions? What are the weaknesses of the institutions? What are the opportunities for the institutions? And what are the challenges for the institution? So first of all, a steering group, you'll form a subcommittee, and that subcommittee will work on this task to identify the origin, the purpose, the development phases, and taking all representatives from the all stakeholders, find what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, what are the opportunities, and what are the challenges. Once it is done, yes, Professor Suresh sir, please mute yourself. Professor Suresh Zondale, please mute yourself. Thank you. So a subcommittee will this. Once this report is ready, 3-page, 4-page, 5-page report, then the committee, the steering committee will prepare a baseline. From origin and purpose, they will say what is the purpose of the institution. Then from this strength, weakness, opportunities and challenges, they will define what is the present, what are our strengths, what are our weakness, what are our purposes. From opportunities and challenges, they will see what are the opportunities, future. What are the challenges to grab the future? So future is ready. From the development phase and from the purpose, and even sometimes from SOC analysis, we will come to know what are the core values. Why do we get succeeded? Why we fail? And based upon the SOC analysis, you will find the gaps. So once you did the assessment, you will form next stage 7 to 10 pages of baseline, where you describe what is the purpose in 1 or 2 paragraphs, what is the present based upon the SOC analysis, what is the future based upon the SOC analysis, opportunities and challenges, based upon the development phases and origin and purposes, our values, and to meet the challenges, minimize the weaknesses, what are the gaps. Then from assessment and baseline report is ready, you go to the next stage, component. And now, before 2-3 slides, we have seen the empirical definition of mission and vision. But really, the mission statements and vision statement are evolved through strategic planning process. Your present and your purpose will define your mission. See, I am taking reference from the baseline. Whatever I have stated in the baseline report, my purpose and present is mission. What we are. or where we are. Our future is vision. Whatever in the baseline you are listed down, later you can prioritize because it may be 25 years plan. But you can make a 10-year plan or 5-year plan. And what is your vision for 5 years or 10 years? You can prioritize. That is your vision. So from future, you will get the vision. From values, you will get what are the core values of the organizations. From vision and mission, you will get what are the goals, short-term goals, medium-term goals, and long-term goals that will help us to follow the mission and reach to our vision. And for that goals, you follow the objectives, specific objectives, what really we want to do, what we are intended to do, what really we want to attain, and what resources are required. So we work on the third component. Now here, as I am repeating once again, earlier I have told you that mission, vision, empirical definition. But this is a scientific and systematic process of arriving at the statement of mission and vision. Not just by referring to some other institute mission and vision. We should not do so. We have to involve all stakeholders, share with them, and come out with the final mission and vision statement. Then based upon the mission and vision statement, your core values, your goals and objective, you go to the next stage, design to specific. Suppose you want to go for a holistic development. What programs are required to be conducted? What projects are required? What is your target? What is your standards? What is action plan for that? You want to increase employment rate from current 30% to 70%. What programs, what projects, what targets, what standards, what is action plan? And that you evaluate regularly as per the action plan, periodic review, evaluate the performance, monitor the activity, and based on the feedback, you will do that. So, dear professors, here in whatever academic activity, this model is generally used in the academic setup. And that's why out of any models I have selected, you can select any model, and this will help you to prepare your strategic plan. See, leader has to be visionary, proactive, dynamic. When we say visionary, means you should see what is the future and not abruptly, systematically, strategically, by a strategic planning process that we have to do. And then we will be able to answer 3 questions: where we are, where we want to be, how we are doing. So here we talked just now in the previous slides on education, career and life. We also talk about mission and vision. And intentionally, I have focused on self and organization. I want every one of you have really strategically go for it. I did that and I succeeded. I must tell you, I succeeded. So what is mission? What is vision? I know you must be knowing this, and through today's session also, your some concept might have cleared. So you work on to that. I and the world, we are teacher, a noble profession. On that we have to work. And we have to follow a strategic approach to that. We don't want to go a laissez-faire approach. We want a very systematic onto that. And we want to develop the leadership capabilities. A leader who can envision, who can set the mission based upon the vision, who can plan, who can guide, who can motivate, who can inspire, and all that is possible. So you can develop into that. Since we are going for the time, you can put your questions in the question box, in the message box. I will answer them at the end. So, as said by APJ Abdul Kalam, to succeed in your mission, you must have a single-minded devotion to your goal. And that is how the biography of APJ Abdul Kalam and so many stalwarts. So, whatever I made presentation till now and in the immediate past, strategic planning, we have to, if you have to succeed in your mission, you must have a single-minded devotion to your goal. And I will not say, but I have a different type of good experiences as well as bad experiences when I'm working in a educational setup. I work pan-India. I work on different projects out of the country like Germany. And I have seen that we really need to focus more strategically to really achieve our dream. And our dream is to become a developed nation. We have to reduce the poverty. We have to develop the socio-economic value, status of the people, and we have to be happy country who are satisfied. Challenging task. But if we all, education matters, as I need not tell you all, and in this section we have to do. I'm not taking an intermission because of the online lectures. I'll go to the phase 2. Now, how you are going to demonstrate it? First we developed, now we'll demonstrate. When come to the demonstration, now we are going to the core aspect. I have followed going from whole to part, then part to whole, and again to part. This is the strategy because you are all professor nationwide. The intelligent brain to whom I'm interacting today, I know that you all teachers sitting across the nation are contributing. So let us, from my side, some inputs, some sharing to demonstrate the leadership as such. So here my focus is on designing. Now because core, as I said to you, when we demonstrate, our platform is here. If I would have been political leader, my field is different. But now I'm educational leader, design, develop, implement and monitor the educational process, which will take student to the holistic development, employable, entrepreneur, personal development, whatever we talked about. Build the competence in teaching learning process. Okay. So in this context, we will do, and it's a famous saying, if you want to teach a history to Ajit, then you must know history and Ajit too. So this is what a message that we go and teach different courses, different classes, different students, different places. Sometime in the affiliative pattern, the curriculum is same, but we implement in rural, urban, semi-urban, metro cities, exposure, individual differences are different, are there. So how do we? So we must know, and that's why that is the meaning of this aspect. So what to teach and how to teach, that is how we are going to talk now into the process in today's. Now here, when we talk of formal education, the curriculum, so you have a UG or postgraduate research programs are there. In that program, we have different courses, we call it the subjects. To have that subject, sometimes we have a curricular activities, teaching, laboratory work, assignment, field work. sometime co-curricular activity, experiential learning, seminar and presentation, some group work, internship, and for the overall development of the students, team building, conflict, stress management, achieving the goal, and development of personality, we have a extracurricular activities. So when we do this, when we implement in a formal setup, this is the curriculum. And that curriculum, if we have to see, then as said by Rafla Taylor, you should ask 4 questions to yourself. You might be principal or director or head of department or professor or associate professor or a teacher teaching a course. Number 1, what educational purpose should the institute seek to attain? Mission. It's nothing but mission. What educational purpose should the institute seek to attain? Though I am teaching statistics to my commerce student or teaching psychology to the psychology student or economic student, I must know what educational purpose the institute seek to attain. What educational experiences can be provided that are likely to attain these purposes? Curricular, co-curricular, extracurricular. What type of expert lecture, project work, problem solving, induction? What is where you need to work or on the job? What educational experiences can be provided that are likely to attain these purposes? How can these educational experiences be effectively organized? What you will give in first year, second year, third year, final year, or when you go to the laboratory, how you are going to craft it, how you are going to bake it, that question we should ask. And very important, last question, how can we determine whether and to what extent these purposes are being attained? A report card, a report card. So whenever you work as a leader at your institute level in different capacity, in the given capacity, you should ask these 4 questions. If I am an NSS, what purpose I am going to achieve? If I am teaching NCC, if I am sports, if I am extracurricular and cultural activity, if I am in charge of some course subject, all that we need to do. And when we say curriculum, please keep in mind, I'm going back. Generally what happens, please make me a pardon, my dear professors, I am talking to you based upon my experiences. My experience may be wrong. Generally, a new teacher for 2-3 years, until he's been mentored by the seniors or has a good exposure during his college days, he will just open the syllabi, see what is in topic number 1, and he will go on teaching. Recently, I was conducting one interview for the faculty position. And commonly we ask the question, which course you teach, which subject you teach. Then he said XYZ. Then I asked the question, okay, now you tell me something about this. Then he said, surprisingly, sir, I am now right now teaching a first unit. I am not come to that particular level. No. If I am teaching a course or some subject, before starting teaching first unit, I must refer to the textbook, reference book, entire curriculum, they're all outlined, how it is related to another course, subject. And that's why we must know what is curriculum. We know syllabi, but what is curriculum? So curriculum is all of the experiences learner have under the guidance of teacher. We have to go a very structured way, keep in mind. Curriculum encompasses all learning opportunities provided by institute. It may be field visit, expert lecture, but it has to be well planned. It may be experiential learning, some projects, NSS. Curriculum is a plan for all experiences which the learner encounters in the institute. Okay. I conduct Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Jayanti, Vivekananda Jayanti. All this I am doing is a part of learning, keep in mind. And that's why even NAC asks you what type of the activity you conduct for the student development. Curriculum is a plan for learning. And one very comprehensive definition, altogether subject matter, content, the statement of ends, the objectives and outcomes, sequencing of the content, pre-assessment of entry skills required of students when they begin the study, and what it does or should do, that it purpose, that is the curriculum. So all subject, like we prepare a recipe at home, that recipe has got different ingredient, and as part of the ingredient, a recipe is prepared. So during the program, you are offering the different courses across the duration of the program. They need to be properly woven together. And that we all need to understand. We want curriculum leaders, not only content delivers. And that's why we all, since you are seniors, I must tell you, when we talk about academic leadership, this part is very important for us to know and to have quickly, though I'm not going in the depth of that, but you will observe that the milestones in the curriculum development is whatever we just saw about Taylor's educational objectives in 1950. Whatever 4 questions we have talked about just now. Then Bloom's mastery learning. We talk about domains of learning, taxonomy of learning, cognitive domain, psychomotor domain, affective domain, all domains of learning, and within that hierarchy that has contributed. These are the milestones in the curriculum design. Competency-based education. We started in 1960, developing the skills and competencies. Then we talk about the assessment and performance, Glaser's criteria reference learning. When you are graduating the economics or sociology or language or commerce or business, on what criteria you are assessing the course and program. Nowadays we call them as a rubrics. And in 1962, Spaddy's outcome-based education approach, which totally followed in our National Education Policy 2020, which talks about these aspects. And hence, outcome-based education is very important to all of us. What is this outcome-based education? It is an approach to student learning. We specifies what the student should be able to do in order to demonstrate that the intended learning has taken place. Here again, academic leadership is required. I am teaching a course I'm teaching a program. I'm designing a program. At the end of the program, the outcome-based education says that it's an approach to students' learning, which specifies what the student should be able to do in order to demonstrate that the intended learning has taken place. And when we talk in context to NEP 2020, holistic development, multidisciplinary approach, interdisciplinary approach, this all will be taken care into that. Or is to say, this model is a design down model. Now here you will find how the vision and mission is important. You have a vision and mission for your institute and department. From that vision and mission, you said, what are my program education objective? What my vision says, what my mission says. Two program education objectives means to what career we are preparing the student, as a successful employment, as an entrepreneur, as a researcher, or a public servant. What is that we are doing? For that, what are program outcome, POs? What attributes must be there? Fundamental knowledge, application level knowledge, problem solving. It may be a sociology, it may be economics, it may be a commerce and business management, or any area for that matter. Then working in team. I'm solving problem for agriculture, for industry, for product development, and course outcome. The course which I'm going to teach, course outcomes, what ability I'm going to develop. So we all who are the leaders of today's NEP 2020, we must get well conversant with the outcome-based education approach as such. Quickly, I will also say to that, PEOs, that is program educational objectives, these are the broad statement that describe career and professional achievement that the program is preparing the graduate to achieve. Are you preparing for successful employment? Are you preparing for becoming an entrepreneur? Or you are preparing mix of that? Or you are preparing them for competitive examination? Or you are preparing them for a research? Why for? What is their future work? What is their domain of work? What is that profession? That we said. Then program outcomes are narrow statement that describe what students are expected to know and able to do by end of graduation. Fundamental knowledge, problem solving, using digital tools nowadays, working in team, sometime as a leader, sometime as a part of a team, sometime multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary team, effective communication. These are all attributes. These are all program outcomes. These are all competencies. And these competencies we develop from the course or subjects. Course outcomes are narrow statements that describe what students are expected to know and able to do by the time of course teaching. You're teaching them statistics. You're teaching them algebra and calculus. Or for that matter, you're teaching them educational psychology. Or you're teaching them accounting for managers. What knowledge and ability you're developing through that course, which will prepare him to achieve that career, that profession, and develop those competencies. This part we need to really understand. So you will find because of the outcome based education, there's a shift. Teaching to learning, skills to thinking, content to process, and teacher instruction to student demonstration. And that's why in NEP, focus is given on interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, experiential learning, internship, problem solving. Right now, I'm advising to one of the university in the state of Maharashtra, my student of humanities, economics, sociology, my student of commerce, business administration, science, technology, they go all for experiential learning. They go to internship. My law student also go for internship, not at final year, but in first year, second year, third year, and final year mandatory. We have given a credits for that. So in that context, we'll have to focus on this part of this. So herein, as a leader, we need to understand in this game, the major stakeholders are pupils. And how can we inspire them to excellence? Student coming to higher education, student attendance, student dropout rates, and so on. So how can we inspire them to excellence? For teacher to achieve excellent learning outcomes, we have to have excellent teachers. And of course, the institution should be a natural habitat of pupils and teacher. How can they foster excellence? See, my dear professor, in the light of our discussion since afternoon 3 o'clock, we have seen the scope, the opportunities, the NEP framework. Now, you people as a leaders, you are going to be in our family of leaders, educational leaders. Now, it's how can they foster excellence that we have to see when we work into this. So, learning and teaching, as I say, teacher has not taught the lesson unless student learned it. So this teaching and learning, we have to focus on to overall development. And the focus has to be on 3 aspects. Achieving according to one's abilities, developing diverse talent, and discover one's talents. You know how it is challenging. I will not say difficult. It's a challenging, but this is the need of an hour for SDG 4 to become our country as a developed nation, and going beyond that to be a employable youth. We have to make this particular attempt, and that's why we talk about leadership. And hence, we require to develop students in all these 3 domains of learning. Intellectual skills, abilities, skills. That's why in NEP we talk about ability enhancement courses, skill courses, and affective domain, where our emphasis is on human values and professional ethics. So, all these 3 domains are part of the NEP 2020, but your leadership, who is going to really design, develop, implement, monitor, and take the actions into that area as such. And hence, we have to ensure that we have to develop these 4 dimensions amongst the learner. A factual knowledge, a conceptual knowledge, a procedural knowledge, and a metacognitive knowledge, a critical thinking. Innovations will give birth to that. A procedure, skills, how it happens. It may be a commerce, it may be a sociology, it may be economics, it may be science. It may be a forensic science. It may be astrophysics. We have to focus on this knowledge dimension, and that's why we need to be very well organized. And this concept of learning, that going from foundation. So when we talk of a foundation of the student, and when we develop the different processes, our learning experiences, the skills and abilities are developed. The skills and abilities and knowledge will form the competencies, and then they will go and demonstrate in the world of work. So this conceptual learning model we need to understand as a principal, as a director, as a senior faculty, as a domain expert and researcher. This is leadership in education. This all aspect we need to understand when we go for the development. And this is a instructional model which we follow in the instruction development. You have a curriculum. You pre-assess the student's learner. You start delivering. You assess the performance, and accordingly either you grade or you take the remedial measures of that. Now, having done this, planning is very important. 3 stages of planning: micro to macro planning. We talk of vision, we talked about mission, we talk about POs, CO. Because the time constraint, I'm not talking about attainment. But we must have a planning to reach to vision, strategic planning to meet the mission, teaching learning strategies to take student to POs, attain competencies at course level and program level, and having a feedback. So you all people who teachers who are connected today to this program, we have to focus on micro planning and macro planning as such. Going ahead, we also have to focus on to the once again, I will open this file. I'll just open this file. One sec, my dear professor, just give me time. I'm coming. I need to reopen this file because of this concept, because of I got some message from this. So I will just open the file once again. I will stop sharing. And again, I will open. So here I'm trying to really attain the requirement of the students' achievement by way of planning as such. I'm coming back and I'm sharing the same file once again. My dear professor, please bear with me. Is this visible? This slide is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So-
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for your response. So when we go for this, we'll have to, I will go in different mode and I will present you. I will go in different mode and I will present you. Just give me a second. We have to go for micro planning. Okay. And when say micro planning, this is for individual teacher. So micro planning, that is required to be done whenever you are delivering a lecture, whenever you are planning for a session, going for COPO planning, preparing course plan, subject plan, preparing session plan, lesson plan, assessment plan, attainment plan, improvement plan. This type of micro level planning is required whenever you are working into that. And then you have to go for a program planning. I hope these slides are visible to you. Because of only technicality, I have just removed my task of the. Is it? Can you view this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes,
Please.
sir.
So this is a program planning. These are 25 activities, my dear professor. To me, as a principal or director or HOD or a senior professor, I need to plan. If I am graduating, preparing a plan for instructional planning for BCom, economics UG, economics PG, what should be the overall offering across the duration of the program? This we need to properly make a plan. And as I said to you sometime before, we have to develop 5 types of minds among the students. These 5 types of minds will help us to build the students into real architect of the nation. So designing this aspect, we have to want disciplinary mind. If a sociology student is there, if commerce student is there, if commerce with accounting is there, if economics student is there, sociology is there, science student is chemistry, physics, disciplined mind. Creative mind means out of the discipline, you should start developing a application level knowledge, solving problem, solving complex problem, synthesizing mind, using knowledge of economics in different field of profession, using sociology with economics, with communication, such type of synthesizing we have. If I am a science graduate, how I can contribute in physics for the development of agricultural tools and equipment, so on to so on. Synthesizing mind we want to develop. We want ethical mind for our country and respectful mind. Respect for self, respect for colleagues, respect for organization, respect for parents, family, friends, and everyone. No inferiority and no superiority concept, sort of the complex that one should have into that, as said by APJ Abdul Kalam. So the function of leadership, as said by APJ Abdul Kalam, is to produce more leaders and not more followers. As Rafla Nader mentioned, my dear professor, herein you as a program attending this workshop on the NEP 2020, we need to focus into that. Now we coming in last half an hour, we'll come to the last task of this particular program. What I did, I'll quickly summarize. In part 1, our focus was context of education leadership. And context of education leadership in view of NEP 2020. That was our focus. And in that, we emphasize on what are the opportunities under NEP. What is the characteristics of the NEP? What are the policies, major policies of the NEP? What are the opportunities and what is the scope? Micro to micro we have seen in the part 1. In part 2, our focus is that having known the context of NEP 2020, what competencies are required? And that competency, we started from foundation, concept of education, policy agenda, vision of NEP 2020, where we are all working. And we talk about sustainable development goals. And slowly, we see that to have this, we must prepare ourselves. We focus on self-management, self-development, and we come to an organization development, mission, vision, strategic planning, etc., SOC analysis, ABCD approach. And then we see that when you go to the depth of that, equally we must have to know on the program. So program planning, outcome-based education. So what are the outcomes? What are the different types of the outcomes? And how the planning is required to be done at micro level. Leaders can envision. And that's why in this training program, we are trying to focus on to that. Now coming to the last phase of my presentation is on leadership styles in the context of NEP. अगर इस स्लाइड्स को मैं पहले बताता हूं तो शायद आप बोलते थे ये बहुत थियोरेटिकल होगा, इसलिए मैंने खुद होकर इसको आखिर में रखा है, क्योंकि जब हम 3 बजे से 5:30 बजे तक very patiently you are listening, in bracket, I hope. So you are listening. I have seen somebody are jotting down whatever I am talking. Now you will realize, appreciate the conceptual meaning of leadership and leadership styles. So going to the last part of my lecture, now I'll present you what is leadership. Of course, not the basic definition of leadership, but quickly in the light of this. What is leadership? Influencing others to achieve the goals. Inspiring vision, enabling the action. Now see your role. When we say this program is a leadership styles program, in the background of NEP, by this time, you must have realized that we need to influence others to achieve the goals of NEP 2020. Holistic development, interdisciplinary development, multidisciplinary development, problem solving, research attitude, multiple system, multi-exit and entry system. So many are there. So we need to have a influencing others and achieving the goals. We have a inspire vision and enabling action. You people having gone to that is the leadership as such. And the leadership is important, which drives the direction, innovation and accountability. You are the role model, dear professors. Keep in mind, you are the role model, having understood the need of the country, the vision of NEP 2020, we have to drive the direction. Are we really looking, are we got motivated and inspired with the vision of NEP 2020? We have to go, and based upon the students, based upon the learners, based upon the demography, based upon your local challenges, we have to go with innovation, with accountability. And when we talk about higher education, in the context of higher education, it's very complex governance. We have given academic freedom, and we have multiple stakeholders. Student is there, teacher is there, industry and organizations are there, parents are there, society is there, nation is there, and so many people. So we have a multiple stakeholders to the higher education. We have given academic freedom through NEP 2020, through your university to which you are affiliated, and if you are autonomous, you yourself. So that is how the context of higher education we have. When we talk of leadership in general organization, what is the type of leadership styles? Transformational, which will really bring transformation in the organization. Transformation means, for example, we want now, country is focusing out on minimizing the import and increasing the export. How in every field we can have entrepreneurs? How do you transform the dream? How you transform research in all discipline? How do you increase employment ratio? Transactional is just input and output. There is nothing. We work in a bureaucratic way. That is the style of that. Transactional means you just whatever is given, input is given, we have to give the output. Servant leadership. Servant leadership is working above self, working above self, working for student, working for society, working for employee, working for nation. So that is a servant leadership. Situational leadership. When you are working, you must have realized that in a variety of situations, sometimes you need to be a little bit strong, sometimes you can be a laissez-faire. So situational leadership you have to apply whenever you go. Sometimes transformational leadership, sometimes transactional leadership, sometimes servant leadership. So situational leadership. So these are the types of leadership without going to the much details of that. And the core skills which required are strategic thinking, decision making, communication, and team management. So leadership in general organization is required like this. Now, what is the unique nature of academic leader? Decentralized and collegial environment. The environment is decentralized. If it is autonomy or even at all is affiliated or a university, we are decentralized and there is a collegial environment. There is a shared governance and participatory decision making. It may not be happening. If not happening, we need to understand this unique nature of academic leadership. Decentralized. Our principals, vice chancellor should not work as a one single leader. The work must be distributed. Everybody must be empowered to take the decision. A collegial environment, a participative environment, a colleague environment that we need to build. Leading without direct control, proactively, dynamic, and need for scholarly credibility. Not only leader, but domain, researcher, synthesizing, application level knowledge. So, intellectual skills, research skill, application skills must be there into the student. So, the unique nature of academic leaders which we need to develop and imbibe are these four which we want to focus on to that. Now, when we talk of level of leadership, just for the sake of discussion, we have an institutional leadership, vice chancellor, president, chancellor. Academic leadership, deans, head of departments. Faculty leadership, research leaders, program coordinators. Administrative leadership, registrar, directors, managers. Means see, within the organization, there are levels of leadership. Levels of leadership doesn't mean line organization. This is a staffing organization. Based upon their function, these leaderships roles are planned, these levels are planned. Meaning to say that everybody in the organization is a leader. Vice Chancellor is institutional leader. Dean is academic leader. Faculty is program coordinator or research leader. For example, so on to so on to so on. So we have to understand that these levels of leaderships are there. And when we talk about roles and responsibilities of the academic leaders, as we discussed before, vision building and academic planning. That is what we discussed previously. We have to have a vision based upon the NEP requirement, curriculum design and pedagogical innovation. Having known the vision of NEP 2020, the approach of NEP for holistic development, multidisciplinary education, interdisciplinary education, we require. We also require to have a faculty recruitment, development, and mentoring. These are the roles of that. Promoting research and innovation and societal engagement is very important. So the roles and responsibility of academic leaders is all, and then ensuring quality assurance and accreditation. You may be assistant professor, senior assistant professor, associate professor, professor, head of department, deans, director, anybody. These are the roles and responsibilities which we need to imbibe and develop in ourselves into work. And when we say leadership skills of general versus academic context, quickly you will see leadership in general organization, visionary thinking, strategic planning, decision making, communication, emotional intelligence, team building, change management, ethical judgment, accountability. In general, I am focusing more on academics, scholarly credibility, collegial leadership, participative leadership, academic planning, faculty development, student-centeredness, policy understanding, research promotion, conflict resolution in academia, cultural and institutional sensitivity, digital and pedagogical leadership. So, in general organization and leadership in skills in academic, same micro skills are required, but you will find how is the horizon of the academic leadership as such. And that's why when we talk about general and academic vision in general organization, strategic growth like profit, or we can say market focus, how much sale has been increased. Academic mission, future ready institution, that is vision. Decision making in general organization, data driven, quick turnaround. If something is changed, quickly production can be modified, reduce or increase. We cannot do in our education. In academic, participatory and evidence informed. In company, in generally, there's a hierarchy, KPI based. In our academics, is peer based, is a collegial, is a mentorship focus at search of this. Same is for accountability, innovations, and all we go for. And hence, we want transformational leadership in education, where promote innovation and change, encourage collaboration and shared vision, drive internationalization and digitalization, foster research and institutional excellence. These transformative leadership is expected from all of us. No doubt, servant leadership will be there. Sometimes situational leadership will be there, but our emphasis based upon the NEP 2020, we want to transform. If you see the vision of 2020 NEP, you will find our transformative leadership is very important. And that's why we can have a very good practices into that. Inclusive leadership, stakeholder engagement, data-driven decision making, having values and ethics, and academic integrity, which is not really seen. Transparent communication, no gossip. We have to focus on to that. We are different soldiers. We are different entity, my dear professors. We are very different. We are building the nations. We are developing the community. So our role in all domains is very important, in which we have to aspect. And that's why the leadership action for NEP success from people like you and me focuses on foster collaborative culture. Now come out with your own institute. Build the groups, have collaboration with other institute, nationally and internationally, research organization, community, and so on to so on. Empower faculty and students. We need to develop the confidence among students and faculty. It's very important. So we need to empower them. I always say training to teacher and student must be rigorous. I remember, my dear professors, I'm very lucky. I said on many different forums during my lecture. I joined my teaching profession in 1984. In 2 years, I got opportunity to undergo 2 training programs of 1 month each, which has transformed me. I was not that what I am doing today. In 1984 to 86, 2 years, I have not taken my profession so seriously. But some training program, some model teacher empowered me. And that journey is there from last 40 years. I'm still trying to do better, and better. Then drive database decision making, not just haphazardly on biased opinion. And we have to go with a very flexible academic structure when we are working in this area. So, as said, a leader is one who knows the ways, goes the ways, and shows the ways. So, as said by John C. Maxwell, we can say leader is one who knows the way. So, you as a leader, you can find the way. NEP document is in front of you. UGC guidelines are there. State guidelines are there. Your university guidelines are there. You know the way, goes the way, shows the way, and that is the leader where we want to really work on to that. So friends, to just conclude in couple of slides, leadership requires both strategic and people-centric skills, because we are dealing with students, human. We say human laboratory. We are in human laboratory. We have to test, retest, again develop. Academic leadership must integrate scholarly values and innovations. It is very must. Why? When you go for career advancement scheme or we go for promotion, why they talk about faculty development program, patent, research publication, PhDs, postdoc, so on to so on, is because academic leadership must integrate scholarly values with innovations. Distinct but overlapping skill set drives success in general and in academic context. So what, as a general, whosoever will be doing, and developing leadership capacity is very key to the institutional goal. And as we know, this effective leadership is a cornerstone of academic excellence. Very in the beginning slide I told you about. It requires blending administrative acumen with academic vision. We call them academic administration, not pure administration. So administrative acumen with academic vision, that type of strategic vision we need to have. And we must evolve with a global changes. We know the Indian graduates are highly demanded elsewhere. If we more focus, we will have a more global change which will evolve. And empowered leadership ensure vibrant, future-ready institution. That is what we want to talk about. And that's why I say now, since 3 o'clock, you are patiently listening. I can see Dr. P. Ramani sir listening to this program, and I have so many Varsha and so many people who are listening, taking notes. Few things life as a teacher begins the day you realize that you are always a learner. So every day we are learning. Every day we are learning, and that continuous development we need to keep forward that. And the bottom line of all these things that in spite of all the many strategies used to turn around low performance, nothing change unless teaching and learning changes. So we have to change our teaching and learning, planning, strategic way we have to go into that. And this is very beautiful quotation which I found could be the last but one slide of my presentation. Please read it carefully. Leadership in education is not about power. Leadership in education is not about power. It is about planting seeds for trees under whose shade we may never sit. We may never sit. And that is the academic leadership. That is the teacher. That is the academic leadership. So leadership in education is not about power. You are a vice chancellor, you are a principal, you are a dean, or you are a program coordinator or a lecturer. It's not about power. It is about planting seeds of trees under whose shade we may not never read. So dear professors, as said by APJ Abdul Kalam sir, don't take rest after your first victory. Because if you fail in second, more lips are waiting to say that your first victory was just by luck. Means to say that continuously, though you get failures, we need to keep on working and contributing the society. So we have to work into that. This is just for information, not a marketing. This is my book. I'm first author in the country to write book on the outcome-based education for higher education. This book I have written. I told you in the beginning, I will introduce myself during my presentation. So this is one of my achievements. I have written so many books. I have written on instructional system design and so many technical books. Now I'm writing on AI also. So this is all what I am. Though I know time is very less, 4 minutes are left. Thank you all for patient listening, all my 90 professors. I must thank Professor Sucheta Embal ma'am for giving me call and giving me an opportunity to share my knowledge to my 90 fellow teachers across the country. I also thank to the HRDC Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, the director, the assistant director Dr. Rafe and all his team. Thank you to you all. This is my email ID, firstfont@gmail.com. You can communicate to me on this mail. You can ask me the questions. And over to you. If there are some questions, I will quickly go to that. I will stop sharing. I will go and I'll just quickly move to the, if any question is there.
Thank you very
Okay.
much, sir, for this nice talk.
No, thank you so much. Thank you.
I have one question, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, how we from last 2 hours you are continuously delivering lecture. It was very informative. How we enhance our stamina to speak fluently and continuously? What is the
Passion.
reason behind it?
Passion. The mission and vision that make you passion about anything. You don't get tired. You have seen I have not taken though there is a bottle of water is near me, but I have not drink a single. It's a passion. And since HRDC has given me an opportunity to deliver a nationwide talk, such important, my fellow colleagues are there. So how I can get tired, isn't it? So you have to have a passion, dedication, commitment. Your vision must be clear. Your mission must be clear. It will happen. It will take some time. As I told you, it took me for 2 times after joining. 84 I joined, 86 I got really enlightened with 2 training programs. My life changed. I hope I contributed to my students' life too.
Good evening, sir. This is Dr. Ramani from SRM Institute of Science and Technology. A very excellent presentation, sir. You have given the quote, leadership is not a power. So we have to be a seat for the students. Yes, sir. We appreciate this. We will take this as a consider and then we'll move on to that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think, shall we declare that, yeah, it's 6 o'clock. Or this session got over?
Yes, sir. Before declaring the session, I would like to give a vote of thanks. Firstly, am I audible?
Okay. Yeah, you're audible.
Yes.
Firstly, thank you team MMTTC, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar, for giving me chance to give a vote of thanks for today's dynamic and the two leader, Dr. Ajit Thete, sir. I am really grateful to Dr. Ajit Thete, sir, for his precise and in-depth talk on exploring leadership styles, leading the change, nurturing the future in context of NEP 2020. Sir, I would like to state that we togetherly successfully achieve all the 3 outcomes you have stated before starting your talk. Sir has given very structured talk. He has divided the talk in 3 parts. On first part, sir has enlightened us on context of leadership under NEP 2020, giving more emphasis on role of leadership in NEP 2020, institutional governance, curriculum and pedagogical reforms, technology integration, NEFT, opportunities through NEFT, holistic and multidisciplinary education. In part 2, sir has focuses on competencies of a successful leader, stating the leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. And in this, sir has also given very nice quotes of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, sir. Specifically, I like the one most is leadership is not about being in charge. It is about taking charge of those who in you are in charge. Sir has also enlightened us on in this second part on education, the concept, today's agenda, vision for education 2020, sustainable development goal 4. Then in phase 2, sir has given a very nice deliberation on demonstrate leadership with day-to-day examples, that is practical examples with 2 different outcomes and more focus on micro planning, program planning and 5 types of mind. In last part 3, sir has enlightened us on leadership styles in context of NEP. In last part 3rd, sir has given more emphasis on stating what is leadership, what is its importance in context of higher education, leadership in general organizational context, unique nature of academic leadership, levels of leadership, and roles and responsibilities of academic leaders. Sir, I assure on behalf of all that we will definitely follow the mandates given by you and also vision and mission. As a teacher, we will definitely form our vision, mission, and policies, if not formed still. And we will be a great leader in our own field as an example of dynamic leader. Thank you so much, sir, for such an insightful talk. And also, I would like to thank you, sir. Thank you. And also, I would like to thank Dr. Sucheta Yambal Madam and team MMTTC Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar for organizing such a unique leadership development program. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am.
If the dais permitted, then I would like to conclude the session here. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.